Hello, welcome to my garden. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm Lise-Lotte, and I do these videos about sharing something in the realm of connection and creativity. And I have an online community called GEMS, gathering experiences that are meaningful, and which I adore this community. If you want to find out more, there's information attached to this. And I also have a newsletter that I share every week on Thursdays. It comes out, it's totally free. And I have a blog on my website. So those are ways to find me. And I'm doing this series on along the lines of what I do my newsletter with, which is themes of creativity and living a creative life, and sort of connections through living a creative life. So that's really what I'm all about. This is my third in the series. And this vase, so I don't know if you have been looking for something else. I was looking for a dress at a vintage shop. I was looking for a dress for an event. And I have something sort of specific, but I'm open, but it's something sort of specific that I would like. And anyway, and then as I was walking back to the car, I saw this jug in another vintage shop. And I thought, I know I don't need a jug, but isn't she beautiful? I just think she's so simple and nice height for the flowers. I do have, by the way, I did put a flower frog in the bottom. It's one of those things that, you know, with all the pokey bits, and you can, so I do have that, but I'm not completely using it, but because you have this nice length here, but the frog does help some of the flowers have a bit of structure, and then everything else can kind of fit in. I was playing with a lot of the leftover flowers from my my Mother's Day flower bouquets that I did for I have a little urban flower farm here, and so all of the orders, I picked more than I needed because I wasn't sure what I was going to need, and I like to condition them, you know, at least a day ahead, and a day or two depending. It depends on the weather and all that kind of stuff, but just when things are ready and so on. Anyway, so I had a few of these, and then I don't know if you were here for the one of the last of the two videos, but this is Lily of the Valley. Isn't she fantastic? And you know, I think a lot of times scents that are taken from flowers don't really feel like they're true to that scent a lot of times, but I feel like if you've ever had like a Lily of the Valley soap or something like that, I feel like that's very true to what this actually is. I don't know if you found that or not. But anyway, the reason that I was so excited about this jug was because my little flower studio, which is just an outside shed, it's nothing, you know, nothing fancy or anything, but I absolutely love it. But it has been over the course of this last year, or this last season, I guess, been a bit of a storage unit for just stuff for projects that we're doing around here. And this jug made me feel like this is what I want my flower studio to feel like. Isn't that weird? You can tell me if that's weird. But I love the color. I love the simplicity. I love that there's a little bit of detail, but not much. I think it's made in Portugal. Did I read Portugal on the bottom? Yep. No, Italy. Sorry, it's made in Italy. Sorry, my apologies. I looked at another one made in Portugal, but this is the one that I kind of fell in love with in the store window, and it's the one that came home with me. And so, but I'm just curious. Like, do you ever have something where, not in a, I don't think it's a materialistic kind of way, but if there's an object that kind of can sort of state for you what you want something to look or feel like. I don't know. I don't remember that I've ever had that experience before. And this is kind of the first one. So actually what it did is it did get me organizing my flower studio, moving some things, and I had some help from family moving some things out of there on a temporary basis until just so I can have like a clear, I needed that for the Mother's Day bouquet prep and wrapping paper and so on. And so I needed like a flat surface again. It's actually the surface that I have in there is half a door, like this way. It was a construction door, which means that it's very, very thick. It's not solid, but it's very, very thick. And so it's nice and strong. And so half of the door is for me to work on. And then the other half is above that for a shelf. So it really is a very make with what you find, right? A sort of something from nothing story. Something from nothing is actually one of my favorite stories. I think maybe it's because the something from nothing story is often about creativity. And if you think about that stone soup or whatever, maybe you've heard that, or maybe you told that to your kids when they were little. But it's sort of that notion of like one thing leads to another, and that includes community, that's for sure. And if you're not familiar with the story, actually, it's just somebody has, a stone and they're going to make some soup with it, and they knock on the first door. I'm going to make some soup with the stone. I need something to add to the soup. And somebody has a carrot, and somebody has some celery, and somebody has a potato, and blah, blah, blah. And then they put it all together, and for sure there is the soup. But it's for the whole community, and it's by the whole community. So anyway, I don't know what got me gone to thinking about that, but it is a great story. And so yes, I do love a something from nothing story, that's for sure. And so a lot of the projects around here are sort of, you start with one thing, and it might not be beautiful, like a jug that I think is beautiful. It might be just something that's interesting, or it could be something that, oh, I wonder if. And that was sort of how that door came about. It was like, you know what, that'd be great. We were looking for something and not having to buy new lumber at this lumber store if we could. Yeah, so this came along. So that was kind of great. Anyway, so this has, it actually has sort of nudged me into the direction of kind of getting organized. And so this is my first bouquet in this jug. And I think she's quite pretty. I love all the different elements of it. And I tried not to, I did with this ranuncula, because it's one of my first ranunculus. If you can see that, if I hold it there, the ranuncula is this one here. And she almost looks like a rose, and some of the roses are actually starting to come out. But she's got a bit of pink, but maybe just a little bit. And because I thought, no, I don't want to have too many pinks, but I have a little bit in here. And this rocket has a little bit of pink in it, although I have others that are just very, 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 very white, as this lily of the valley. But anyway, so I thought, no, I'm just gonna do, kind of put together with what I have. And I picked this new GM. Isn't she pretty? I fell in love with GMs when I saw this color. I just love that. It's not an orange. I guess it is an orange. I was going to say it's not orange, not red, but it's, yeah, so pretty. And this one is not a bachelor button, but it's a kind of bachelor button. It's more of a perennial one. I have a lot that have kind of invited themselves into the garden, which I appreciate, because they're also very generous with their blooms. And that's on the cover of my book. So I always think of that at this time of year. And yeah, so there we are. So I'd be curious to know if you have walked by a shop window and seen something that has inspired you in some way in your life. I'd love to know about it in the comments. And we'll see you next week. Thanks for being here. I wish you peace on your path.